So first I want to start off with a little experiment, a participatory experiment. Everybody, could you stand up for a second, please? Everyone stand up, stand up, stand up. Okay, so now jump around a little bit. Jump up and down. Now make eye contact with your person. Keep jumping, don't stop jumping, keep 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 jumping. Now make eye contact with the people next to you. Turn to your left, turn to your right. Okay, you're good, you can stop, thank you. The reason I did that was, well, it's made a great picture. And second of all, that was a lot more fun to do, you can sit down, thank you. It was a lot more fun to do together than it was in my hotel room by myself. And I work in the participatory media space, so I'm very excited by the idea of how we can work together in a collective creative environment. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about the idea that right now, how do you get people in every country in the world to do something at the same time? The reason I can talk about this idea is because I have a project called One Day on Earth that we simultaneously filmed in every country in the world during the same day. And this is the first time this has happened in history, and I'm incredibly fortunate to have been in the middle of it in some ways. So I would like to distill this down to maybe 4 core concepts that helped us get there, to be in every country in the world. First is we had an accessible idea that was easily communicable between person to person. The second is that we really developed a venue and space for participation. Third is that we were incredibly determined and didn't sleep much. And fourth is that we really developed a community model where people were really owning this idea unto themselves. So first, that accessible idea. Our core concept was, on one day, film anything you want across the entire world and upload it to our website. We'll create a geotagged archive and eventually a feature film. And that was the basic idea. So we had to go out and start to brand that idea. And the first thing I did was, come up with a day to do this. And the first time we did it, this idea was started in 2008, was quite a bit in the future, on October 10th, 2010. Or 10-10-10, because it was just easy to remember, really. And it was sort of a blank slate holiday for participation. The second thing I did was build a really rudimentary website to start to sign people up to the project. And about 6 to 8 months later, I had about 120 countries in the world covered with some really great inspirational filmmakers. And we reached a point where it was like, well, how are we going to communicate this further on social media and et cetera? How can we get this idea further out there? Well, we decided to make a trailer for the film before the film. So we collected everybody's demo reel together, and we made a communication piece. And I'll share that with you now.
Everyone should participate in One Day on Earth because we are attempting to create a voice of the world. If you believe in something, if you have one message you could put in the world's time capsule, one story that you can put in the record of history, we hope that you will be inspired and really go out and find it and put it in the capsule, put it in the document, put it in our film. On October 10th, 2010, participants from every country in the world will collectively film the 24-hour period. We ask that you be one of them. Please sign up to participate at www.onedayonearth.org.
We still need to create a venue and a space for people to participate in. And I think something that really always bothers me about a participatory project is it's called a crowdsourcing project. Who in this room wants to be part of a crowdsource? One guy. So, excellent. You don't want to be part of a crowdsource. It sounds like you've been commodified and sort of reduced to something that's traded on some market somewhere by VC capitalists. And that's probably kind of true. So what we were trying to do is make an actual film and a much more expansive creative project. So we really always philosophically thought about things like how is it community produced. And I think as things evolve and participatory media becomes more and more dynamic, this is absolutely going to be the philosophy that's going to make this work. So what we did is we created a social network with a specific purpose, for participation. And we didn't have a lot of money, so we mashed up a bunch of technologies to make sure that when everybody uploaded their video, that it would directly land on their individual profile page. And we collected a lot of data when we uploaded it. We geolocated it, we knew the language, we knew the topic, people filled out a questionnaire. And all of that data helped inform an archive that was publicly accessible and downloadable to other participants and geotagged on a nice little map. In addition, because we were trying to make a film eventually from all this, we were able to port out individual folders of content based on, here's a few hundred hours of footage of music, here's a few hundred hours of whatever sort of piece of data we wanted to isolate for editing, because ultimately we ended up with over 3,000 hours of footage in over 95 different languages, which meant an incredible amount of organization on the back end and a year of post-production. So, thinking about the scale and the delivery mechanism of I participated in this project, how can I be publicly acknowledged, is a big part of how we thought about things. So this is onedayOnEarth.org today, and the thing I really want to show you guys is this geotagged map, because not only is it sort of a central hub and portal for our community, but it directly displays every video that was uploaded to onedayOnEarth.org. The individual red dots are videos, and the green dots, as you drill down, you can see are sometimes dozens of videos. And so this is a really great gallery for participation and also interaction. So everyone who participates in the project, whether they're in the final film or not, actually gets their individual contribution fully displayed for the whole community to interact with. And everybody has their own individual profile page, sort of like a white-labeled Facebook, specifically to be sort of a gallery of their participation. So that was the venue we developed, and certainly there's a lot more that can be done in this space, and this is sort of like what could we do leading up to our event. Third is determination. To be in every country in the world was really inspiring to a lot of us, and the producing team that I had was incredibly dedicated. And the reason that I think this was so important to really get out there is that despite this awesome amount of technology that we have accessible, unless you're just trying to get people to like something or tweet about something, it takes a little bit more to get people to fully engage on the level that we were going for. So for that reason, we really made sure that we treated users as people, not users. I even sort of said, don't call them users, because that just sounds like we're trying to get millions of people. No, we'd rather have thousands of people that really are engaged. And so from that point of view, where were we at? We're leading up to 10-10-10, and we had our idea, we had a venue, we're incredibly determined, and it was kind of scary though, because this has never been tried on this scale, and we're hoping it's going to work, but we're making great headway. And there was a point where I finally felt like we had a community, where people were taking ownership unto themselves of this idea and working within the space we created. And it came from a video from South Africa, which happened to be the furthest distance point from where we were working in Los Angeles that we could probably fly to at the point, other than maybe Antarctica. And it was unexpected, unsolicited recommunication of our thoughts and ideas. And I know that we were working so hard that I kind of cried, and my producer cried, and we were all just at this interesting point of the event hadn't gone off yet, but we knew we were going to make it. So I'm going to share that video with you.
We all have our stories to tell. Look at me. I'm mostly shy and quiet. Often I prefer being alone, completely captured in a world of imagination and ideas. I laugh, I think, I cry. As an African, I fear our land. Corruption, hatred, anger, they are rife here, carried through generations of violence and discrimination. Sometimes people forget we are free. Oh, I have stories to tell. South Africa has stories to tell. We all have our own story. Things happen, memories are created. Imagine looking back at the world 100 years from now. Culture, technology, and society will have changed. But the human spirit, will it have changed? But we as people have lost the very thing that makes us human. I can't answer that. That's a story for another world. I'm Michael Ruddick, and I'm an African. What's your story?
So at that point, we really felt that we had, crossed the cusp of actually developing a community. And so today, One Day on Earth, this is a visualization of our community. We have over 30,000 people across the world, part of our site. And they primarily consist of filmmakers, educators, and nonprofit organizations. And I think that one of the final points I want to make about this community is that the nonprofit organizations really helped with something that I haven't really fully discussed yet, which is that despite all this technology and accessibility we're used to here, there's a good portion of the world with incredibly low bandwidth. And so how do you be in every country in the world with just a technology platform? And the answer is you don't. We built a community well beyond the technology so that when we engaged with our partners who are working in the developing world, that their story about what they were doing there could be part of this project. And we were fortunate enough to forge a relationship with the United Nations, which allowed us to ship about 1,000 cameras to the developing world, and also, in turn, get footage sent back so that we could actually put that content on the website and make it part of the eventual film. So how do you do that? Well, ultimately, if you have an idea that's worthwhile enough to bring the whole world along with you, people are hungry to capacity build in the developing world. So there's absolutely reason why you could go beyond the technology and find partnerships in those regions. So a lot of people did create on our filming dates because they thought of their media creation as a donation. When Michael Sturwig actually filmed on 10-10-10, he filmed on the topic of climate change. And he did so because we had an organization called 350.org participating in the project as well. And he felt passionate about that. So we started the One Day on Earth Foundation in the last year, and the mission of that foundation is really to connect nonprofit organizations with filmmakers around the world to help tell the world's story about the biggest conflicts we're facing. Because what better content could you ever think of creating when you're trying to tell the whole world's story and experience? We currently have over 100 nonprofit partners around the world. And I'd like to sort of end on the note that, we're in a really exciting place right now. I mean, for the first time ever, 5 years ago, One Day on Earth would not have been possible. And we're just on the cusp of being able to actually connect the world in new ways. So making a film is one thing, and I hope that you can be inspired, to have an idea, to create that space, to be very determined, and, to ultimately build a community worldwide and make something that was never possible before. So as we go towards 12-12-12, my pitch to you is go out and film something. Tell your friends about the project. If there's something that you think that matters, we always say it's like an election. Stand up and vote and tell that story in a way. And I'd love to share with you the trailer for 12-12-12, shot entirely on 10-10-10 and 11-11-11 by our community. And this is the next trailer before the film.
participating from the beautiful country of Grenada.
I'm shooting in Ukraine, Argentina.
And I am participating in One Day on Earth from the South Pole.
I ask our family and friends here today to witness that I take you to be my lawful wedded wife.
I think, yes, this is probably my favourite place on earth.
In 20th century, I'm optimistic. This century, definitely there's real possibility to bring century of peace, century of harmony.
Thank you so much for your time.